going to build the Airfix 172 scale Hawker Hurricane Mark 1. So starter set, you get your paints and a brush and some glue. Probably, well, in fact I won't be using that glue, it's rubbish. But to get this camouflage pattern you see here on it, rather than paint it with brush because I like to airbrush, to do it I'm going to use blue tack. That's £1 that for a pack like that. Already used quite a bit. Malleable or whatever they call it, malleable, that's it. Very tacky. Use that to cover the areas so I can airbrush it. You could use this system as well if you wanted to paint it by hand, but I'll show you how you do it, and for a cheap, and it is cheap at £1 for a pack, we'll hopefully get a good result. You can get a dear versions of a similar product, but it costs us like 8 and 10 quid from model shops. So there you go, more of the stuff, nice, fresh, ready to go. So we'll get it out of the box, let's start building it. Well, I'll get my trusty nippers out, and I always try and cut a little bit away, if I remember that is, from the actual with the connector, and then just as you can see there, just nip them little edges off. Easier to sand off that way, I do hope. Some small parts you have to fit here first. It's a bit strange really when you look at it that you're making all these bits first before you actually bring cockpit together, but just how they've done it. It's not that bad actually, it's easy enough. And as usual, Airfix kits are dead easy to do, to be honest, most of them. These starter kit sets are. I'm using my Tamiya. I do prefer it, all that umbral cement you get. It's a bit rubbish to be honest, that other, but this is lovely glue. This is just putting cockpit together, seating, few other little bits. There's not a lot to do on it, in all honesty. It's just a few small bits, and that's it. This is dashboard that I'm fitting now. You just got to put decals on that, that's all, once you painted it all in. This is Tamiya's cockpit green I'm spraying now, and it's a brilliant cockpit green I find. Dries really quick as well, because Tamiya paint tends to. But any excess overspray you get there, you can take it off with a little bit of IPA as well, so it's nice. It's a good paint, I think. Really lovely. Used a bit of microsol and micro set just to put my decal on with this one. It's a good one. It's as good as Mr. Mark's softener setter. I tend to mix with them both. When I'm jointing these like this, I just try and work my way around it, try and make it a little bit easier that way. It's I find it the best method rather than trying to glue it all in one. And this is a nice little thing where you get all of the wing in 2 parts, so you can glue it all together, because normally there's 3 parts, and sometimes if you don't get it perfectly located when you stick the actual fuselage on, it into perfect fit. But then again, I'm saying that now, I ain't put this one on over yet. And again, I just worked my way around with that, and actually it looks quite a good fit, that. Just take it steady as you work around and work to the front like that, and you don't have any problems with it, especially with that Tamiya extra fin. If you do have a bit of a mistake, you just put a bit more, well, rub a bit more Tamiya fin on, and it usually just softens it again, and you can move it about or even pull it apart most of the time. These tail section pieces fit together easy, not a problem. There's not any extra sanding or lumps to sand or clean off or anything, so I'm happy enough. It's a lovely little kit, to be honest. It's gone together up to now, absolutely beautiful. Can't knock it. And this last piece on here, and most of the kit's about ready for painting. Right, quickly on the canopy, all I do is tie my masking tape, press it over, press it in tight against the actual edges. I usually run a toothpick round it as well then, just to make it a bit neater, and then I just cut around the squares of the panes with my scalpel blade like that. It has to be a sharp one though. I will say though, you've got to be very careful with your fingers and you don't press too hard. Right, I'm ready to primer, and I've just got this. It's Mr. Finishing Surface 1500 black. I've got the grey, I like the grey, but I prefer black for most kits. I couldn't get it last time, they didn't have any in stock, but they've got some now, so I'm going to use this. Stinks like hell though, it is a bad one. You've got to be ventilated well. You might actually hear all bird noise, and that's because all windows are open in room, just to make sure it gets rid of as much of this smell as possible. Right, I'm going to stop it now because I'm going to put my mask and that on so that I can spray without choking myself to death. Pouring this paint out of these rubbish pots because I don't like them, and I'm putting it into some old Tamiya jars. And what I'll do then is I'll add a couple of drops of flow improver, it's like a retarder, and then obviously some airbrush thinner because the paint's quite thick anyway out of them pots, and then it makes it a bit easier to mix it up, mess about with, do whatever, pour it into your airbrush, the lot out of them, and I can now start painting and blasting it on. I like to put a thin coat on first, I always find that helps, like that, and then I can just keep going over it until I get the desired effect I want for how thick the paint is. But it does dry really quick with that flow improver in it as well, always helps. Just going to take a few coats I think, like this. Should be good though. Right, I know it looks a bit funny this, but what I'm doing, I'm trying to recreate this, which is this camouflage. So what I've done, I know it looks a bit crazy from that to this, but where the little squares of masking tape are the areas that are going to be green. The ones that are not, like them, that one, that bit there, they are the ones that I'm going to paint brown now. But this is only a rough guide. This is so that I'm not sprayed all of the model in brown before then I go over where the green areas are. So, trying it, let's have a go, see how this works out. Got a fresh pack here, just in case I ran out. £1.15 at the minute in Asda in UK, or Tesco's and all them, but I thought it were £1, but it looks like they've gone up a little bit. But the white tack works as well, that's quite good. They're both like the same, just different. One's got covered, one hasn't. Got a little bit left here, so I'll finish off with this. A little bit there actually. So all I'm doing, I've been doing this here, as you can see. Put some on, and then what I do is I just push to near where you want it to be, like there. Now I don't want to go over that black line, otherwise you'll see it. So all you do is string it out a bit, and you just stick it onto your model near where you want the camouflage to be. It's as simple as that. I do think it's easier actually painting the model first completely in, like, say, the brown, and then putting the green, and then just putting this exactly where you want it, rather than trying to get it up to this line, because this has took me ages to do already, literally. This is all you're doing, you're just doing this. Put it on, get it up close to where you want, and then it's fine. Oh, it's a little bit sticky when it's new. Not a lot like, but still a little bit. There. And you can see I've got that section all into there now, just make sure that's over that edge so it protects it. And all you're doing then is just filling it in. You're just spreading it out in between them, just to make sure that none of the paint that you spray then goes in that gap, because you will get overspray. So if you do this, you'll find that you don't have that problem. And that's it. I've just done that one there to there, but that's all you do with it. It is a bit of a pain at times, but for the amount it costs, this is as cheap as out, really is. Right then, painted as you saw, time to clean it off now. Let's hope it's worked. That one looks good. There's a lot more to go yet though. Right, these are the bigger ones. That one's looking alright now. Yeah, don't look bad. Bit of blue tack there. To get the blue tack when they're like that, rather than try to scrape them out, I just dab them like that. As you can see, takes it off its end. Just gets your little bits off without ruining any paint. That looks quite good. Yeah. See what this bit's like here. And dab that off. Yep. Ooh. Don't want that going in. Oops. Don't want that going in anything. And this front bit, we'll have a good idea then, and I'll take the rest off and speed video up a bit. Seems to have worked absolutely fantastic up to now. That much I can tell you. Up to now. Very tough to get off, as in like it really won't come off until you get it moving a bit. Once you do, it just peels off lovely. Let's just get that start. Yeah, seems to work well on that there. Yeah, looks good. I'll just show you the box so you can see. This is only a roughie, but it's not a million mile away. Ooh, bit too bright. And then on the side, so that's that side there. Nearly there. It's not perfect, but speed it up now, get the rest off. I've got my microsol and my microset here, and I've put it into some little brush pens. Got painted ends there, you can see red and blue, so I know which one I'm on with. So blue one first, and I've seen another model do this on a video and I thought, oh god, that looks easier than messing about with brush dipping in, so I'm guaranteed I'll knock them over. So what I've got a decal ready to go, and you just did that, just brushed it on with that like that. Puts a nice little bit on. Get the decal. Put that onto. Ooh, I've lost it. That's it. It's quite a big one actually. And just put that where you want it, and oh, it's further back. Ooh. A bit further it is, I think it's showing on it. Don't look too far off actually. I think it's meant to be just back from, there's a line. It's just back front line, it's around where the line is there. That's where it is. You can just put that to where you want it. Get rid of any excess. There's usually a bit of water and thing underneath anyway. These are fantastic decals, these cartograph ones. I know I keep saying it, but when, oh, that's me that, I caught it. Fantastic decals, and look what happens. But, as I said, they are good, so you can use them to repair them, okay. Just look at that up, like that. That's back right there. That's it, nope, it's off a little bit there. That was my fault, that. I was brushing a bit too hard. Well, not brushing, but rubbing. I've not got the decal down properly there, and I'm trying to force it out rather than... But you can see it's near enough perfect. Can't tell. But yeah, these are really good. But I'm just trying them brushes to see if it works. Seems to be alright. And that seems to be pretty good. Once I've done that, I've got the excess out. What I tend to do is just get a little rub like that. This will pick up, this is just a microfiber cloth towel. This will pick up any bits of... Press that down there, we have made a mistake, but yeah. That looks alright. That's how simple decals are. You don't have to use this, but it really, really does help and makes them stick down better. And when you use this one, the microsol rather than the microset, this helps it conform over really horrible contours. So if you put it on this here and you've got this ribbon, it'd help it sit really down to it, and it helps it sit into your panel lines and that, so when you do your washers and that, fills them up. Lovely. There you go. I'll carry on decaling rest. What I will say about these pens is, whatever you do, don't leave them stood upright with a brush pointing down. I did that, and a couple of drops seeped out of the actual brush because obviously it's quite a thin solution and it naturally just wants to flow out. So I keep them upright now, like you can see there in background, with the base of the pen always down if I can possibly. And I mentioned again, these cartograph decals, absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love them. It's a right breath of fresh air, these, compared to Tamiyas and that, but yeah, do like them. And they do look really, really well. Once they're on, and then you've got a bit of matte varnish over everything to blend it all in, they really look like they've genuinely been painted there. Just a pin wash now, and I'm going to be very precise, just putting it down into the panel lines themselves now this time. I ain't going all over it like I did with the last one and ruined it. I'm not sure it would do it on this one, but in all honesty, I'm not taking that risk this time, because I'm really loving the build of this, and the painting and everything. Absolutely fantastic. You can see it's just running down nicely. The panel lines and that, fantastically running into it, and just rub it off. Bit of, well, a cotton bud, just like that. Perfect. It just helps highlight them a bit, makes it look a bit more detailed. Well, I think it does anyway. Just sticking these exhausts in. I mean, I've kept them on the piece of sprue, so I know exactly which one goes where, but I don't think you can put them wrong way around. I think they've got the locating pins slightly separate, but I'm only saying I think. I haven't tried it. The undercarriage, it's a little bit weird, the undercarriage, in all honesty. Normally you just get a couple of pieces, but this is a weird one because you've got to feed it, if you look, under that piece there. And then it just shoves in that corner and just pushes in like that into other. And then you get an arm here, that it's only a small one. I say an arm, it's a leg, whatever you want to call it. But it just pushes in the bottom there and then just connects to near the bottom of that one there. There's just like a little bit of a locating point. You could probably just see it there. I'll just dab a glue there. It's always that Revel contact once I've painted. That's my favourite. And this time I've already put one on the other side, but I'm going to put the hatch or the cover, and this goes on afterwards onto both of them there. It's a little bit finicky because obviously you're trying to get it in the right spot. There is little like locating points for it to sit into, but that's alright. The wheels, there is a flat side. Try and make sure you get it the right way around, because if you don't, it's going to look silly with flat at the top. They just push on them. And the rear one, again, it's just one that you just shove in. So I just put a little dab of the glue and it just pushes into it. We're a little bit tight, so I had to push it in a little bit harder with my tweezers. I'm wary about breaking it, because that's my favourite when we're coming up near end of making models. Now we'll take off these squares, these panes, and I just gently flick the edge away with knife. Make sure you don't touch the plastic, because if you do, you'll scratch it. And you just pull each of them off. And underneath there, there's a little red light. So I covered that with a bit of Vallejo liquid mask. That's it. Yeah, put a little tiny drop of that on there, just so I can pull it off, and then you can see just there the red. So I painted behind it first, you see. Again, my usual. This one I'm my favourite now that I've found, that Elmer's purple glow. You can't see it at all once it's on. Just seeing that dish there, it's a little bit purpley coloured, but it holds these canopies on brilliant. It's best I've found it. In fact, I've had proper canopy glow, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's better than that. Seems to dry a bit quicker. That just pushes in end. And one model finished. Well, I've kept with no real weathering on it. I've just done the little bit of pin wash, and the reason for that is I want it so you can see how well that camouflage is done with it. We're using the blue tack. You can see it's done an half decent job. In fact, better than half decent. I think it's fantastic. Probably a bit more actual indented, well, where it swirls in and dents in a bit, or whatever you want to call it, a bit more patterny, but other than that, I think it's pretty good. I really like it. Kit, I'll say about that, absolutely beautiful, brilliant kit. Enjoyed building it. I've made one mistake. I've lost one of the lights there. Don't know where it's gone. I cut it off and then it's just disappeared. So I've had to make one there of my own, and you can see it's a little bit, I couldn't get the scratchy mark, well, because I've had to sand it down to get it to fit in, but it'll do. It's not the worst in the world. I made it out a little bit of off sprue that were left from before, but it's one of them. Like I say though, I did like the kit. I really enjoyed it, and I think that I've shown you here how well the blue tack can make the camouflage on aircraft. Now, you can use it as well. I've seen people use it for doing it on tanks and that, where it's doing the lines down, it all that are all swirled so that it looks like the tiger kind of camouflage, and they look fantastic when they're done. But as a product, and I know I said £1 on my video and all of that, but the £1.15, but I think you can still get this from Pawn Shop for £1 and stuff like that. But it's an absolute bargain. It's like I say, there's stuff out there in the modelling world that's been specifically made for modelling, like, and it's not really, in my view, I don't think it's much better than blue tack. Yes, it lasts longer, and yes, it seems to be easier to put on and off, but you're paying, like I say, about £10 for it. Some of it's even dearer than that if you get a big tin. But yeah, I've enjoyed building it, and that's the main thing. And I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and I hope my tips here for blue tack, also for me Canopy, how I mask them off, for these little ones especially, because they are really finicky. But you can see how well that's come out, that canopy there. I think it's done well, that. But if you've enjoyed the video and it's helped you out, give us a subscribe. It'd be fantastic if you do. Thumbs up as well. Brill. It lets me know if you think. But if you do subscribe, just hit that bell and it'll let you know when my next video goes up so you can watch it. And on that note, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Catch you around later.